That which is below is equal to that which is above, and what is above is equal to what is below.
Attention should be given to an easily overlooked representation from the secret symbols of the Rosicrucians. It is called 3 natural suns in the world. The representation names as follows:
The great sun in the sky, father and mother of all creatures.
Then,
The small sun within us,
and
the lowest sun inside the earth.
from the viewpoint of the Rosicrucians, the Christ is revealed to humanity in this image of the 3 suns, in a threefold way, where the Sophia consciousness is not understood as an end in itself, but as a gift to once again turn from the vastness of space to time. The same wisdom is expressed in the prologue to the Gospel of John. We will here present only the pertinent sentences.
In the beginning, there was only the Word. Through it, all things became. In it, there was life, and life was the light of humanity. And the light shone in the darkness, but darkness did not accept it.
The cosmic sun is the Christ in the first revelation as the original word, self. The second smaller sun is the Christ in the second revelation in humanity as the source of life itself, the intrinsic light that comes to us from the heart. The third lowest sun inside the earth we find once more depicted separately in the book of the secret symbols of the Rosicrucians. It is the imagination of the crucified Christ inside the earth who has taken upon himself anew the cross of the material. In the minor work, metals are turned into silver, that is, the body and soul is purified of subjectively. In the major work, a desire to redeem is achieved through this completed sacrificial action in the harmonization of the 3 suns. Through this, men and women work consciously with the Christ in the transformation of the earth to gold, to a new sun. However, this requires our exertion of free will, to which the Christ, as represented in this image, holds forth his arms in an attitude of expectation. It is an invitation rather than a moral demand on us to cooperate in the completion of the great work. The second central sun in us we find represented in the symbolic language of the Rosicrucians by this image, and in Christian representations by this image. It shows Christ pointing to a burning heart on his chest that has a burning flame on top. On the one hand, the heart is the source of life, but it is also the gate through which the soul finds the Christ. Here we not only have suggestive imagery, but also realistic statements. This level of evolution is expressed in Rosicrucianism in the imaginary picture of the phoenix. When the green line devours the sun and turns into the red line, the rose that is in the center of the cross unfolds. The door of the heart opens up and the liberated soul soars as the firebird phoenix up to the Christ sun, to embrace it longingly with its wings. The symbol of the rosy cross is derived from the inner experience. It is meant to remind us that we carry in our hearts the way to the Christ, the actual source of Rosicrucian wisdom. Since this process of coming closer to the Christ, our true being, is an everlasting one, the sunbird phoenix has to repeat forever this transformation, the death and resurrection. Thus, we now have two levels of experience for rebirth of the soul. In the eagle, image of the purified soul, humanity enters through the first door to the intuitive experience of consciousness, the cosmic wisdom of the Sophia. In the imaginative image of the fire sunbird phoenix, we move through the second door of the heart and seek union with the macrocosmic equivalent of self with the Christ. The process described here we find depicted in this emblem. The picture bears a Latin inscription of In hoc signo vinces, which means, in this sign, you will be victorious. It shows a sun with 5 main flames and 8 smaller ones in between. The 5 stands for humanity and for the rose, the 8 for the exaltation of the 4 elements, the resurrection. Thus we have in the picture of the cosmic rose, the resurrection of humanity, Phoenix, and the endeavor to unite with the cosmic Christ, the archetype of the self. The unfolding of the cosmic rose begins a new plane of evolution of the soul, in which men and women find themselves at the beginning of an, as yet undreamt of, dimension of the active will. We sense the infinite expanse of a mystery, which will always be a living enigma to us. If we have in the realization of the cosmic Sophia experienced and recognized the eternal part of our soul, the consciousness then begins with the approach to the Christ. With the rising of the soul from the heart imagined by the sunbird phoenix to the Christ Sun, the active co-responsibility towards the evolution of the earth. These are the events that happen within us, as within the earth. Thus, we will be able to understand the final symbol of the emblem of the Tabula, the red imperial orb above the 7-pointed star. Through the power of the awakened self, it is the Christ-suffused earth that is turned into gold, a new sun, a cosmic heart in the evolution through the 7 levels of the planetary evolution in time. This journey receives the blessing of the spiritual world by the 2 hands that reach out from the clouds.